Welcome to this episode of the Justice Team podcast on the Justice Team Network. I'm your host, Bob Simon. We give practical how-tos for lawyers. And we are honored today to have on one of my personal investigators, Mike Seeley with Spear Investigations.
All right. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it. Thanks for letting me come by. I appreciate it. Those are pretty kind words. Hopefully I can live up to it.
Straight from, came in from Texas, probably yesterday. Did you fly in
I
yesterday?
did. I came in yesterday.
Yeah. And Mike's one of those investigators. He and his team can find anyone, anything, anytime, any place.
That's right. I mean, we, and I'm usually when I introduce myself, people start to get real quiet.
Yeah.
Because they're really afraid what you're gonna say next, or what you're gonna maybe find out about them. So, but it's not like that. It's not like that.
Yeah. And the first time I met Mike, he actually had a bottle of whiskey on him. Knew that I like whiskey. We did a pour of Still Austin.
Absolutely.
And we were in Austin for that.
I was at the PimCon.
Oh, it was. It was in Scottsdale.
At PimCon, you were doing the bourbon for breakfast.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's my guy right there. That didn't get off the ground, but I ran into you backstage and was able to slip that bottle to you really quick, pop the cork on it. You took a big drag off of the bottle, which was pretty nice as well.
Oh, yeah.
And
so I brought one for you. Well, one for you, because we'll do it impromptu. I know you listen to the Bourbon Show. We like bourbon.
I do.
So this is what we have here at Justice HQ in Torrance. We have a lot of whiskey sitting here, too. This is Rebecca Creek. This is from San Antonio, Texas. This is their double barrel whiskey, and this is one that was made by JJ's Liquor. So a store pick you usually can trust.
Absolutely. So why have to go with anything off of your own kind of taste, and when somebody that knows what they're doing can actually pick it for you. That Rebecca Creek is actually about 15 minutes from my house.
Really?
Yeah.
So you've had this one before.
I have had this one before on occasion.
This is also going to be, I think it's hot. It's probably almost 60% alcohol.
All right.
Yeah,
all
59.
Right.
All right, brother. Cheers.
Well,
Welcome
cheers.
to
Thank you.
the Thunderdome.
Appreciate it.
Oh, that tastes every part of 60%.
Yeah. The ice won't last very long in there.
No, it will not either in your... Actually, whiskey kills bacteria.
That's what I hear. That's what I use it for. Medicinal purposes.
So with Spear Investigations, you're also a vendor partner of Justice HQ. Myself, my law firm, others use you across the country. Sure. What do you think is a differentiator? We'll talk about what they do as services, because I think it's very unique. People think that you do just generally one thing.
Sure.
We'll talk about the use cases for Spear Investigations and some of the fun, weird stories, because I know you've run into some crazy shit before.
We do. I have one that I'm working with an attorney right now. He's sitting in this very room.
Oh, yeah. It's true.
So what we kind of hang our hat on is digital investigations, and we have four main product lines. One being former employee searches. We do those nationwide. Find former employees. They're not protected by any employment agreements. They're not protected by NDAs, and they're able to spill the dirt on their former employers. Mm-hmm. They have all kinds of great information. They save old screenshots. They save safety manuals. All kinds of good stuff that can be used in your cases. That's probably about 90% of what we do. The other products being individual deep dives. So if you pointed somebody in the room and said, "Hey, I want to know everything there is to know about this gentleman right here," we can do that as well.
And you do. I mean, those are a lot of digital stuff too.
Those are all digital products. We don't have any actual boots on the ground products. Mm-hmm. It's digital searches. That's why we have kind of this tagline is digital warfare for attorneys.
I love it.
Sounds kind of cool.
Are you able to get into people's devices too?
Now that's illegal. We can't.
But I'm saying if you had a court order or something.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's something that we could probably approach too. So the former employee searches, the individual deep dives. We do corporate structure research where you're able to go in. Maybe a company has multiple LLCs and partnerships. You're trying to figure out where possible insurance may be, possible assets. We can go in, break these companies apart and say, okay, they're saying, hey, I'm a $2 million company. Yeah, that's great. You are. But you're actually owned by a $500 million company.
Yeah.
So
and they play the shell game.
Exactly.
And they have it. I think they rechanged the law to allow this, but they had a while where you didn't have to know who the owners of corporations were in some shield in Wyoming. You can name it something like Benign.
Sure.
That kind of stuff. Because you can always find out who really
we can find out. I mean, it's basically an extensive public record search. Mm-hmm. It goes in and, the investigators are part of different groups that they have memberships to. So it allows them to kind of open up a few doors that, the general public can't see without a paid subscription.
Wow.
Sort of thing. So we do that. And then the final product that we have is social media scraping. So we collect social media in a court admissible format. So no more holding up, screenshots. Hey, this is what's going on. that could possibly be faked. When we do these searches, it's able to identify. It leaves behind a digital footprint, and so it's able to be.
Wow.
It's be able to be something that you can actually prove.
I did not know
That's
about
real.
that service that you have, but that's
Yeah, I mean the main thing is the former employee searches. That's kind of what everybody knows. So
Yeah,
the former
I mean,
employee searches and the interviewing of
the
those
the
people.
former employees. If you have an employment case, one against a corporation or a product liability case, those are gold. But I don't. There's a huge use case for the social media scraping for expert witnesses. Like when I go against an expert witness, I like to know everything that they've done, that they've said, so I can make it relevant to impeach them. So we have,
Especially with like the individual deep dive.
yes,
Hey, let's take a look at this guy. Maybe he's testifying for the defense. He is he's a doctor. He's not doing surgery anymore because his hands aren't any good. So now he's working for the defense attorneys.
Doctor shaky
I
hands.
sold spinal implants for 20 years.
Oh wow!
So I feel like I should be able. I'm qualified to make that assessment. So you can go in and actually figure out, hey, well, maybe this guy, when he was a resident, he wrote a paper and said this, and now he's testifying this.
Wow.
So to give you a chance to impeach him on the stand.
See, that's good. Like,
That's
I mean, so if you want to hire Spear Investigations to get dirt on experts, I'm talking a deep dive, personal dive on them, on the corporations they may own, the structures that they have, their old publications that they wrote, all the way back to medical school. That's your guy.
That's my guy. That's your guy. I'm your guy.
I'll never forget, like, one of the best cross examinations I had. There was this expert who was a neuropsychologist, and when he was he was in residency, and he wrote a publication that I found. This was in the 70s.
Oh,
about homosexuality is a disease that needs to be cured by electrocution.
oh,
And
interesting.
I found that, I was like, oh boy,
I can't wait to tell everybody this.
can't wait. And then
I'm going to get a big demonstrative, get this blown up really big.
and I had him on the stand. I'm just walking him down the line, and it's just like he's first of all, he's yelling during his entire testimony, which the jury also didn't like. And I walked it on the line, and then I pulled out this thing that he wrote, and I was like, "Can you tell me?" And I handed the defense lawyer, I was like, "Can you tell me about this thing that you wrote in 1976?" And I started to read the title, and the defense lawyer looks at his eyes, gets so wide. He's like, "Your Honor, sidebar."
It sounds like it's like a made-for-TV kind of moment there.
Yeah.
Like all these cases get solved in less than an hour on television.
I mean,
right?
like the punchline was already delivered. The guy was already beat, but we go sidebar, and the judge is like, "Judge was awesome." He's like, "Bob." He's like, "Is your client gay?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Then I can't let you do this." I'm like, "God, I've been waiting for this for years."
Come on,
to
this
use
is the big aha, big
Yeah.
gotcha moment right here. Let me have my moment in the
I
sun.
was like, "But Judge, I'm discrediting him." He's like, "This is so prejudicial." He's like, "Ugh." But I wasn't allowed to do it. But the defense lawyer was like seething because I had a whole box of other stuff that I was pulling out.
Yeah, that's what he was afraid of. The dusty box you had underneath the table. He's like, what else you got underneath there?
That's because I want to I have to do this manually a lot for myself to dig up the dirt and just search Google for expert dirt and for my box of death, the dusty box of death.
Absolutely.
Now I could just hire you guys to.
Yeah, I mean, dusty box of death is our specialty. We tried to put it on a card, but it's just too wordy. It wouldn't let us do it. So yeah, I mean, whenever we do these searches, yes, we do the interviews. We hand over the list at the end of the day. The list is yours to do with as you please. You can make those phone calls yourself, or you can task us with doing that as well. We have people that are trained to do interviews.
And you guys know how to get people to provide information to you. I mean,
That's right. I mean, I know it probably comes as a huge shock. Not everybody wants to talk to an attorney over the phone.
correct.
I'm sure. And these people are very personable. If I got you on the phone with one, you would probably say this guy doesn't sound all that impressive. But they can, with a little bit of the backstory, they can really get individuals to open up and tell their story. They're very relatable.
Yeah, I know one personal case we're working on together for benzene exposure, where a person got the very rare cancer only due to benzene exposure, and you guys have helped us find. I mean, because this was decades ago, right? Because when the exposure happens, it takes so long for it to manifest and to find the actual through a lot of interviews and things and due diligence. But I mean, that's the beauty of hiring you guys to be able to do that, because the lawyers think they can do it themselves. You cannot. Like, no one's going to talk to a lawyer. One, you're right. And two, there's so many like intricacies that you have to
Sure. And I mean, we want to get them to a point. We want to kind of separate the wheat from chaff, to use my business partner's saying. We want to get them up to a point, and whenever they agree to speak with an attorney, we want to hand them off to you. We don't want to create any fatigue by talking to them too much, by wearing them down. If I ask you the same questions over and over again, you're going to get really annoyed with me.
Love it.
So once we get up to a certain point, say, hey, Bob, this guy's ready to go.
Yep.
He wants to talk to you, and you can really dial in the questions that you need to get what you need out of him.
I love it. So, by the way, after this breathes a little bit, this whiskey is much better. The first pour of 60% with a little ice and breath, it's fantastic.
I mean, I had a piece of gum on the way over here too, so it kind of, adds a little bit extra, a little zing, a little peppermint spice to over the top. But, this was not too bad.
So you brought a couple bottles here today,
I did bring
too.
some stuff. I
when you come out of town and you go on the Justice Team podcast, we will welcome every type of alcohol.
Absolutely.
Except for vodka. That's not real alcohol. It's terrible.
It's for rich white women on diets.
White wine and vodka.
Yes. When I was in college, I was taking a mass communications class. We had the public relations speaker for the Dallas Cowboys came and spoke with us. He was a PR guy for the Dallas Cowboys for, I think, 25 years, something like that. A guy named Rich Dalrymple. I still remember his name.
What's his?
Rich Dalrymple.
Dalrymple.
Yes. And he
What
brought an autographed, like, Roger Staubach jersey,
Wow.
right, to this thing. I'm super old. And that's what he gave away. He said, if you always bring something along, people will always remember you. So he brought numerous items. One of them was an autographed jersey, which was pretty nice. I still remember his name to this day.
You know who I saw yesterday? I had to go to Phoenix and back yesterday, and Terrell Owens was on my flight.
Nice.
Yeah, I was like, yo, T.O.
Yeah.
I was like, I remember what you did in Cowboy Stadium.
Yes. You got shanked in the back.
Man, yeah.
Big presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
he was
wild.
Quite the character.
Yes,
Quite
he
the
was.
character. He still looks like a specimen. I saw him on something the other day. He looks like he could walk right on the field.
I mean,
play
when I saw
tomorrow.
him, he still looks like a 25-year-old super athlete. I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy
He's built like this.
Yeah.
This is
like
a brick wall.
I mean, unbelievable. Yeah. So what did you bring here today?
So I brought a couple of things. I was listening to the Bourbon Approved podcast, and I hear you talking about, hey, you like to dabble in some gin as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I brought something unusual. It's from a local distillery. It is a Ginski, which is a gin, naval strength gin, 116 proof.
Oh, speaking my language.
And it is stored or aged in a bourbon barrel.
So this is, I love gin, and I love a barrel-aged gin, and it's very hard to find anywhere.
Right.
Like, I go to all these places.
Well, this is distillery only. So you can only get this at the
Oh.
distillery. So I drove to pick this up for you because I was like, I got to take that to Bob. He's going to love this.
I'll drink, like, a good gin martini with this, just shaken, is
Nice.
fantastic.
Nice.
I'm going to do this tonight, and I will report back.
I like it.
Go to Planet Fun Bob social media, and I'm gonna do a fucking special pour 6. And if you're from the Ginski, if you're a part of the what's a distillery?
It's called a Chaplin Distillery. It's tiny. I mean, you can fit it inside your office. It's
Chaplin
tiny.
Distillery. If you would like to sponsor the show and send us some spirits,
go.
I'll make sure that it gets
There you
drunk.
go. 100%. That's a ironclad guarantee. I like it. And then I brought something else. Still Austin is in my backyard.
Oh.
I live between San Antonio and Austin. Still Austin is kind of that, it's a great brand. It's a grained glass, all Texas product. And this is one called Nancy's Pick. And Nancy's the head distiller there. So once a month on the first of the month, she goes into the rack house and tastes several barrels and picks a barrel on the first of every month. And starting the first of the month, you have to get it at the distillery. And there may be anywhere between 140 and 150 something bottles, just depending on how many they can get out of the out of the barrel that time. And so I brought you one of those too.
Yeah, and this is the color I like my whiskey.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is how I don't like the light colored Scotch look. If you're this darker,
so that's like about a 5 year. But you get these crazy temperature swings in Texas. So about a 5 year in Texas is equivalent to about an 8 year in Kentucky. Is what.
and so I mean, I know I was glad we got on the whiskey tangent here, but Texas whiskey is some of my favorite whiskey, and I will put like Garrison Brothers and Still Austin against any other whiskey. I mean, it's fantastic.
I'm a big fan. I mean, obviously, I like just about everything that comes in a bottle that looks like this. I won't turn anything away, but it's nice to have something kind of unique in your own back kind of backyard, and be part of that and bring it around.
I love it. All right, so after we had a very high proof whiskey or two, what are some crazy fucking stories you've had to seen? Some crazy shit over the years. Crazy
I think
shit.
How much of this I need to change.
I mean, don't name names or
No.
specifics.
I'm not
just
going to no names
generality.
or anything like that. we had the opportunity about 2 years ago to do some work in a case against Michael Jackson's estate,
Wow.
and they were looking for former employees of Neverland Ranch. So we found some unusual people. I mean, we're not searching for assistant reptile handler or monkey trainer or, primate trainer or whatever. So that was kind of unusual. That I could think of kind of off the bat. Really a diverse bunch of people.
Did you talk to Macaulay Culkin?
We did not.
Did you talk to anyone with the first name Corey Feldman? Or
We did not speak with anybody of the Feldmans. Unfortunately, we were able to find what they were looking for was I think in Santa Barbara County had like Michael Jackson, like dead to rights, like let's say like 22 years ago, something like that. And they were looking for that individual. He's like, hey, this is who I'd really like to find. He's like, nobody's been able to find him for years. He disappeared. He took a payment from the estate and he disappeared in the wind. And he said, like, television crews have been able trying to find this guy. He changed his name and he took off with his settlement. And so we said, well, we'll take a crack at it. And we found him in 3 days.
What?
Yes, we found him. We narrowed it down to 3 people and said, hey, here are the 3 people. Take your physical investigators, your private investigators, put them on the ground. It's one of these 3 people.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's pretty pleased with that.
I would say so.
Yeah. So we come across some unusual stuff every once in a while. We did some research into some people wanted, this is a real thing. It was not in Texas. I'm not going to take credit for this. It was a rodeo school, and they were looking for people that were assaulted at this rodeo school by one of the instructors. So kind of some unusual stuff. We do a ton of trucking cases. We do a ton of premise liability. We do trucking tire cases. Find all kinds of interesting stuff. But you'd be surprised. People keep copies of old text messages. Very vindictive people.
I mean, I have a vault that like
a big dusty box.
Oh yeah, big dusty box. So my twin brother Brad, by the way, like he lays in wait for decades, saving information to once be restored, either usually for a practical joke. Oh. But like that's not one guy you ever want to cross, because if you came to him and be like, "Do you have any information on this?" He'd be like, "Oh, let me show you."
Let me put you on retainer. You could be my dusty box.
Oh my God, I like this dusty box moniker. Yeah. This is a good handle for you guys.
Sure. So yeah, finding people, creating meaningful conversations with folks, and really uncovering what people know. I mean, we're in the business of making sure that attorneys are successful, and that goes for any of the vendors. I know that I remember you saying before, I think when you came to PIMCon, you're like, hey, I really didn't like coming to the vendors and talking to the vendors before. My theory on that has changed because the people that are in that room really want you to win.
You know what's crazy is I don't know if he posted it yet today, but I was doing a revamp post of that exact thing. Oh. Because my immediate team, let me see where we are with this, because they had that quote that they found. And they were going to do it because with the Justice HQ app that you can.
I did not think of it. I thought of it when I was sitting in the parking lot. No, but I was ridiculously early today.
But we were. I didn't post it yet because I wanted them to tie it into because I always wanted on the vision of having everybody to have access directly to vendors, because you guys are the lifeblood. So on the Justice HQ app now you can talk directly to each vendor. You guys create your own communities, sub communities. Sure. And talk directly to folks.
Hey, that's the deal with vendors too. Like, I have tons of people that are friends of mine that are different types of vendors. And if I come across somebody that needs something, it's my greatest joy to pass that along to somebody. I'm a big believer in all ships rising. Yep. So if I can help somebody, and I don't really want anything for it, I just want them to say, "Hey, thank you. I'll send you something if I ever come across it."
And so this is like the exact thing. So I had never met Mike. We talked a few times, I think on LinkedIn first and some other stuff. And when I saw you in person, I was like, dude, I really like this guy. And then once I started to learn what you do, because I see it so many times, like, oh, I can really use this guy. Sure. Right. And that's what it is. Because you have to be, in my opinion, you have to be like just friend first, value add first. And I can help you with that. No problem.
I've never been the type of person to, push too hard. Obviously I want to advocate for my products and my company, but I don't want to push something and, twist somebody's arm to try something. I want to create a solid relationship and I want to bring value. I don't want to do one case with you where you say, "Oh, that was great. I paid you X, and you sent me 5 names." I'm never going to use you.
Yeah. The thing is, though, is lawyers don't always have that juicy case that needs a lot of these things every single time.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like while you have clients that are reoccurring, you still need fresh folks.
It takes lots of eyeballs.
Yep.
That's what we always say. Hey, we're competing for eyeballs. You know, there's not the opportunity to go out and say, "Oh, I've got one attorney that sends me 100 cases a year." That just doesn't happen. We're going into our 3rd year right now, and our busiest customers probably use us 6 or 7 times a year.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. We appreciate it. But there's lots of little things also. Hey, you know, there's an attorney. He's like, "Hey, I'm in Florida. I'm trying to find somebody in New York. I don't have the time or the resources. Can you do this?" Yeah, we turn around a few days for him, and everybody's happy.
I would think in the mass tort world, whenever you have these pharmaceuticals or other things, they would love to find these former disgruntled employees that know everything.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, they, you know, and a lot of the kind of higher ups, some of the ones you may want, they may be protected by some type of agreement where they don't feel comfortable talking. But your hourly people and the people that kind of drive the forklifts, load the product, run the machines, you know, they're more than willing to talk a lot of times. And a lot of times they have some great stuff to say. Man, you know, I wish I could say it's 100% accurate. It's not. You know, sometimes you have to go through and pick out, you know, the juicy tidbits. You know, a regular search for us usually returns somewhere between 35 and 45 people. So usually there's, you know, half a dozen to 10 people in there that are the real kind of meat and potatoes of the case. And sometimes maybe there's just 1 or 2, but those 1 or 2 are very valuable.
Yeah. I mean, my wheels are spinning on the ability to use it for the social media, just entire.
Yeah, we can do some interesting things, you know, and of course we just have certain products listed, but like, you know, the case with the benzene exposure, I mean, we didn't have anything like that, you know, on the brochure, but it's definitely something that we can handle. So, you know, creating those times, making those conversations, getting messages out like this in this type of format lets people know, hey, this is kind of what we're about. It's worth a phone call. It's worth it.
And this is what frustrates me about lawyers. If it's not super easy for them, sometimes they don't even want to take the case. And I had this discussion last night while I was in Phoenix for an event, and I was talking to another gal. She crushes, and she was like, "Why don't other lawyers in our industry take these premises liability cases?"
Sure.
I laughed. Somebody else laughed. I was like, "You know why they don't?" And the other guy was like, "Because they have to work too hard." Right? I mean, because it's sad, but it's like if you hired you guys, if you did a little more work, you can actually help somebody out a lot. And usually the work that you guys are doing are on more insurable, bigger corporations and stuff like that. So why not take the chance?
Well, it's funny that you say that about the premise liability. We did one. We did one about a year ago where a chunk of the concrete stairway gave out and fell on somebody that was there. And we found 108 former residents of that apartment complex that lined up to tell them everything that they possibly. We interviewed, you know, I think 60 of them, and found all kinds of information. They were spray painting around areas that were cracked. You know, this was rusty. You know, they told us don't use these type of stairs. You know, so the people that live there, you know, they tell compelling stories, and to sit in a jury box and hear these people, you know.
And by the way, these are folks that don't have a bias. I mean, they're not
right.
They don't have I mean, it's like this is real.
Sure.
So that's, and like if anybody's watching or listening, if you have a premise liability case, usually very big injuries, because these things people get hurt very badly. I view this as you attack the premises. That is my mindset, is you find everything you can about that building, that apartment, everything they've done wrong, talk to every single tenant, you just attack it full throttle.
Sure.
And that's why you hire Spear Investigations, because you guys could do that very quickly.
It is. It's a great service to have. It's a great feeling. You know, I mean, I don't have to say this out loud, but you know how attorneys get just such a negative, you know, view by so many people, and that's just so not true. These people care about and fight hard for these people that are injured, and we want to do the same thing. The only thing that I wish that we got was more feedback after the case, because we want to know what happened. You know, a lot of times we don't get to know what happens. You know, sometimes they'll send us a message, "Hey, this is what happened," or they'll put it on. I'll see it on like LinkedIn, and I'm like, "Oh,
that's your case.
This was great."
Yeah, it's wild because I don't ever follow back up with you guys, but like, wow.
It's like we had this great first date, and then you never called me.
Dine and dash.
Yeah, that's right.
Dine and dash. The
Appreciate
ghost.
the lobster, though. Thank you so much.
So how do they find you? By the way, my first lobster was at Red Lobster because that's what we thought was cuisine in like Pittsburgh, and it did not a good
Pittsburgh Red
experience.
Lobster. Bang.
Yeah,
Did you pick him out? And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, Clyde there.
No, they
With the
probably
green-
came in a
green
can.
bands on
Probably
the-
came
on
in
the
a
stick on
can.
it. Yeah.
So how do people find you?
We're on LinkedIn. Myself, Mike Seeley, Spear Investigations. My business partner, Connor McDuffie. I'm in Texas. Connor's located in Georgia. We cover, every state, coast to coast. Also have a website, spearinvestigations.com. You can find us there also.
It's SPEAR.
Spear, like,
Spear.
I want to throw a spear at you.
But Seeley with 2 E's.
Seeley with 2 E's.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I was, heir to the mattress fortune, but unfortunately I'm not.
I don't think.
Regular.
No.
I'm just a regular Seeley.
I don't think you want to be an heir to any master situations.
I wouldn't hate it.
Well, thanks for coming on this episode of the Justice Team podcast on the Justice Team Network.
pleasure.
Yeah, and now we have to ask you before I close this episode.
Yes.
What's your? This wasn't a true bourbon proof episode, but if you had to pick your
appreciate you dabbling.
top 5, like what are your
man.
what's Mike Seeley's cap? Like your everyday sippers to ones that you're like, these are ones I could do every day.
I would say I this is kind of in my backyard. I drink a lot of the Still Austin. That's a good one. I'm in a bourbon club where I am called New Braunfels Bourbon.
What's it called?
Club. New Braunfels Bourbon Club.
New Braunfels.
I live in this small German town, about 100,000 people.
Spicken Sie Deutsch?
Oh, Z. Yeah. And so it's right between San Antonio and Austin, kind of right in the middle. Really cool little town. There's about 1,200 members in the club. So we do a lot of club picks.
Nice.
And they're fantastic. I like the Penelope. Is a big. I'm a big fan of Penelope.
The Penelope, like their toasted one that they had. One of my daughters named Penelope. Love Penelope.
Nice.
Love the whiskey. I found out recently that the original owners are 2 guys from Jersey that are best friends with Colleen Joyce, who runs lawyer.com.
Oh.
I talked to Colleen, and she saw I was in the Houston Whiskey Social, and I was with the people from Penelope because I love the whiskey. And it was just like, she's like, I know them.
I tell you what's really good, but it's really hard to find is the Penelope, the light whiskey.
I never had that one.
Oh, it's delicious. It's delicious. It's like candy in a glass. Delicious. So the Penelope, probably the go-to pour if I'm somewhere nice that has it is like George C. Stagg.
Stag Jr. I like George T. Stagg, but Stag Jr. is just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, it's
okay. Fine.
It's
it's
okay. I'll pick it up if I see it somewhere. It's usually to try to trade it with somebody else. I like kind of individual things. I mean, you know how it goes. You can pay whatever you want for a particular bottle, but I usually find something great in the $75 to $110,
exactly.
$20 range. There's tons of great options. I'm not going to chase down X just because that's what everybody wants.
Now, if somebody sends it to me, I'm going to drink it.
Absolutely.
Drink it.
I mean, you have your own bourbon podcast, so I mean.
No, it's what we were at my house the other day, and a friend came over and in my whiskey room. He's like, "Wow, you have all this stuff," and he's like, "What does that one cost?" I was like, "Free." I mean, some people just sent it, but and they're all half empty. I was like, "You send it to my house, I'm going to drink it. I'm not going to put it up on the shelf and let it collect dust."
I don't have like things that I won't drink.
Yeah.
I tell you what's fantastic. Have you ever had the Iron Horse?
No.
So it's the guys, the first group of Green Berets that went into Afghanistan.
Horse Soldier?
Horse Soldier.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry. Horse Soldier. I'm sorry. I told you the wrong one. Horse Soldier. Yeah, that's what it is. And so I met the guys.
Really?
One of them was doing a bottle signing at like a local liquor store. So I bought a bunch of bottles and had them signed for customers.
That's great. When they first came out, they sent me a bunch of bottles. The master distiller, I don't know if she's still there, but Elizabeth Pritchard, she's one of the only female distiller. Like there's a handful of them. They're really good. And we had found each other on social media. She reached out and sent a bunch of bottles. And this was, this is 5 or 6 years. This was when they were in their infancy.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember having the people like, what is that? I'm like, these are amazing. Like they sent this to me, and they had the cast strength one. God, it was so good.
Yeah. Did you get the story on the label?
Yep. The whole
10?
back.
That's cool, right?
We had them on, the bottles on the show once. I'm a big fan of their stuff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Good stuff.
Same palate.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Mike. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
I appreciate
We'll continue drinking. Enjoy California. How long are you going to be here?
I'm leaving this evening.
All right.
I'm leaving this evening. In and out real quick. And I get fooled every time I come because I'm like, oh, sunny California. And I'm like, it is freezing out here.
Right now it is free. It's weird.
I know. I'm like, come on now. I'll turn on the Chamber of Commerce weather when I'm in town.
I can't believe it. It's like, it should be 75 and sunny every day. It's been like 65.
Well, I'll probably be 100 by the time I get back to you.
One hundo.
One hundo.
All right. Thanks for coming on the show, brother.
I appreciate it. Thank you.